Yeah, from the creepy stories to the woo and tinfoil of Tim Seanor. Here comes the UFO report.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Tim Seanor, big question from Penny Van in our chat room. What is the white dot thing on the uncovered corner of your window? What white dot thing? I got the two white dots on my Canadian flag in the middle right here. Those are actually from the lights above me. I'm not seeing a white dot. Not seeing it. Not seeing it whatsoever. Do you see a white dot around me, Tim?
Not around you. I've got one up in the corner of my room, but that's just soundproofing leaking in through my curtains. But I don't think that's what she's talking about. I don't know. The white dot.
She says it's still there. Hold on. I'm not seeing it.
It's on yours. It's probably on her screen. Penny, just clean your screen.
Clean your screen, Penny.
It's right here.
I'm just not seeing it.
Clean it. It's just.
I'm not seeing it.
Wow, you got. Look at that solid head of hair, folks. Wow.
Yeah, there is no male baldness here whatsoever.
I'm so jealous. You and me are just like day and night when it comes to follicles.
I know.
You are blessed. Look at that.
I am. White dot. Oh, there is a white dot on Dirty Fylth's Cryptid Cartoons book. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know.
This makes for good radio, though. I'll tell you that.
It does. It does. Sometimes the radio audience misses out a little bit because of little epic voyages like this. Okay, my neighbor's outside light is on.
Oh,
I don't
there
think
you
that's
go.
what
Maybe
you're talking about.
No. She says to the left on the book on the glass. To the left of the book on the glass.
Oh, well, that's a little sign that reads "Gnome One Like You." It's a picture of a gnome.
There it is.
Maybe that's it.
We've solved the mystery.
Could be. I'm going to be changing up the studio here in the next little bit before you get here, little Timmy Seanor. So
make it a bicycle built for two.
Well, I can put a couple people in here. That's not an issue.
Sweet.
It's more about just I don't like the look of it. It is. It's way too cluttered in here.
Is it too Canadian-y?
No. What do you mean too Canadian?
Maybe 2/3 of your space is dominated by Canada.
What? Because I have a flag blocking my window? It's a beautiful flag.
It's a
beautiful flag.
I thought you just really liked the devil's lettuce
stripes.
Well, I had to. Oh yeah, that was for 4th of July celebration, but it looks good in combination with your maple leaf.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. All right.
Good.
Now that we got that mystery solved. All right. Oh my goodness. I do have a nice back head of hair. Look at that.
Isn't it gorgeous? I'm so jelly. People are dropping all kinds of compliments in the chat. You've got some hair fans.
Of course. Too bad our radio audience can't see how luscious my locks really are.
Hair and beard combination guy. That's you.
Very true. Very, very true. All right, well, let's talk some UFOs because it's been a very, very slow week or so. But according to Chat GPT tonight, I don't know if you've heard this.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Thanks for Cliff Sy in our chat room pointing out that we may be getting more talks as early and hearings as early as this week. Like we're talking within the next 48 hours.
Mm-hmm. Do tell.
Well, that's all the information I have. I've been trying to find it on Twitter, not really seeing it there. Maybe this is something new. You know, I'm not sure. Really not sure.
Very interesting, though. I would love that. I haven't heard a thing, but my head has been buried in production. But I tell you, that wouldn't surprise me. And I've heard, by the end of July. So that fits with what I'd heard, but I didn't know that soon. That would be great. Let's get this thing rolling. Are you talking like you heard public hearings?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, apparently there could be more hearings coming up this week and by the end of the month, where we're going to hear maybe from more whistleblowers. Now, how many of those whistleblowers actually pull a David Grush and come out publicly, we don't know. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and that kind of hits on my first topic. Should I dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
The Washington Examiner is bringing us an article all about kind of how and why the UFO whistleblowers are getting a mixed reaction from the public, politics, and the media. And even though those UFO incidents that they've brought forward, you know, the statements are massive and the indications are huge of the possible cover up, they still lack a lot of the physical evidence that a lot of people are considering would make it more credible. And so now, take Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence Scott Bray, for example. Bray was criticized by some UFO researchers for supposedly failing to be forthcoming during a UFO briefing to Congress in May of 2022. But this criticism may or may not be justified, because still Bray is extremely well regarded in the U.S. intelligence community, especially for his work on other issues. Rather than being disingenuous, his testimony likely reflected his absence of interest in the UFO topic. And so, that's something else to be considered, that a lot of the people that are talking about this don't have a deep understanding or interest. So the topic isn't really covered very well, even when it is brought forward by supposed whistleblowers or people coming forward on the topic. So there is still quite a bit of government bureaucracy that we're having to get through, and still lingering UFO stigma, right? The UFO stigma surrounding this surrounding this topic doesn't just exist in the media. It extends across the government and the military also. And so consider that most intelligence officers, military, air crews, and submariners are focused on very obvious threats from nations outside of the USA. And so those threats demand their training and attention. And so the intersection of these demands with government bureaucracy and the UFO stigma thus disincentivizes the discussion of UFOs with those people. And so I think that's a poignant point, really, to be making at this time. There's so much going on that this topic could seem like kind of a backseat to some of the more heated topics that our military needs to be focused on. So it's cool to see that Congress has taken an interest in the possibility of exotic metals and vehicles, and a body of evidence pointing towards bodies and things like that. But it seems like individuals like Grush that come forward are going to continue to meet a mixed reaction when it comes to diving deeper into the truth behind some of these matters. Over to you, Dave. But kind of, what are your thoughts when you're hearing that blanket kind of reception to this topic?
It's hard to say, because I mean, I don't know whether it's more wool being pulled over our eyes or whether this is something that's going to move the ball forward. How do you feel?
I personally feel like it's a massive distraction from the fact that I feel like they know already, but they can only say so much publicly on the topics. That's my gut reaction, because you see some of the people that come out of these meetings ready to talk about this topic deeper with the public. And then there's some people that come out of the same meeting that have their lips shut, and either they received it as being totally nonsense or something so big that they can't or won't respond to publicly. So the people that are willing to talk about it are typically people that have been read into something that they believe, and they're willing to talk publicly about it and feel like the public have a right to know. But me personally, I'm very much right down the middle right now. It's very hard to say what part of the story is true. And I think I'm right there with you, scratching my head, asking you the same question. Where are you at this? And where's our audience at it? Where's the public at with, on this topic? Because we've been given quite a lot of information without any evidence yet. So, hearsay is only as good as you can, throw it.
Well, how would it help? How much more would it help, though, Tim, if the whistleblowers came out to the public? They're protected. They're allowed. Okay. I realize some may not want to because they've been involved or maybe currently still involved in some sort of clandestine operation, and for national security may not be able to do that. All right. But on the flip side, I think that they should be allowed to say, hey, my name is John Smith or Jill Smith, and this is what I witnessed pertaining to this subject above. I think if we allowed these people to be more David Grush and less secretive, the movement would have a little bit more movement, if we could use that term. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because we could do all the talking that we want, but eventually the talking is going to bore people. It's like, the Apollo missions, man. We were going up to the moon, and then all of a sudden it stopped because we didn't want to waste money on it anymore. Well, what's the answers to what's going on here? Right? What's your answers to what's going on in the world when it comes to this subject? What are they hiding? And more importantly, what is Congress hiding regarding this? Because we only get to see the superficial stuff. They get the juice. They get the full glasses of juice. Okay. And that's what I want to see. That's what the public needs to see. You don't have to give us the top secret stuff, but give us something. Give us something that's in one of those reports that David Grush let out. What's wrong with that? Give us a nibble. We are mature enough. If we're enough, here's the way I look at it. If we're mature enough to vote for you, be mature enough to give us the explanation and the information. Your thoughts?
Well, how did you feel when you realized that the 1933 crash retrieval was what was being referenced to in the Grush speech? Did that make you feel that, hey, there was a line of evidence that we can point to? Did it feel like it was a more justified case for his line of explanation? Or do you feel that that case was debunked years ago, and so it makes his story less credible? Because I don't know if it was truly debunked. That was what my understanding was. But when you hear things like that, do you feel that perhaps his statements are made based on information that may have led him this way? Like, You know what I mean? Like, he believes that we have crashed craft, but the story that he got it from is actually a debunked story, but he doesn't know it was debunked. You know what I mean? Is that possible? Is that what we're seeing here?
Well, I mean, it all depends who comes out after him, right? I mean, if more senior officials come out with higher security clearance than David Grush, then we're getting into something very, very unique and interesting. Right?
Right. And what if we came up with the first-hand witnesses to the craft? Because then that debunked story goes out the window. But do you feel like a first-hand witness is good enough, or do you need to have the photographs or video,
I
or do
want
you need
something.
something beyond? What about
Don't you want
first-hand witness? Is that good enough?
I would take a first-hand witness. I think we have heard from a first-hand witness who just hasn't come out about it yet. And I would suggest that, and with no proof, but I would suggest that first-hand witness is Lou Elizondo.
Oh, tasty. Yeah.
I'll throw that out there.
Yeah.
Lou, you've been out in the public long enough. Tell us your experiences. There's a whole world of wonderment that have let rumors go all across the internet about what you've seen and what you've heard. Maybe it's time to open up to the public about what you've experienced.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't sure also sometimes, so it's just one of those things.
That's right. Little Timmy Seanor, we got him till the top of the hour. Are you sick of whistleblowers? Do they mean anything to you when it comes to UFOs? We're going to continue the chatter when we return with Tim Seanor and the UFO Report right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. Timmy.
And yes, I have the rest of the night. When we come back, I have some fun stuff, and it's not political. It's all fun. I see you, dog. Right on. Your chat is fun. I actually have it up. I'm not reading it all the time, guys, but I am glancing at it. So if you want to throw questions in. How are you, Dave?
You know what? I tired. I made the mistake of having a really, really heavy nap after my daytime job.
Oh, that's
yeah.
bad.
And it just kind of knocked me down a little bit. Oh. That's okay.
Breathe some life into you.
Yeah.
Your first guest was fun, by the way.
Yeah, Olive is great.
Yeah.
He is just wonderful. I had I told the audience earlier, but on Saturday night we had a really, really cool experience at our Sasquatch site.
Do tell. By your house here?
Yeah, the one we go to every Saturday night, or try to go every Saturday night. Cool. And so I was sitting with my buddy Mikey on his tailgate of his truck, and my son is kind of like 25 feet away to the right, playing in this big dirt pile, because for some reason he thinks he's Godzilla to the ants that are crawling on there. Typical boy stuff. I love it. He's so, you look at him when he's walking around after he plays in that dirt pile, he looks like Pigpen from the Peanuts series. Right? It's hilarious.
Love it.
Neither here nor there. I mean, he's having fun. And all of a sudden, my buddy Mikey whispers to me, and he kind of points across me into the trees. He goes, I have a feeling we're being watched over there. Something's over there. Right? No word, Tim. No word to lie. 3 seconds later, my boy, who's flat on the ground playing in the dirt, gets up in push-up position and points in the same direction, says, they're here. And I went, who's here? He goes, the ones we're looking for. But there's only one. It was freaking amazing, dude.
Whoa. How do you feel knowing that your kids are out there with you and sensitive to that stuff and learning from old pups?
Love it. I
Love
do.
it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. That's cool. And
Yeah.
it's an adventure for you guys. That's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was one of the coolest things, man.
Dude, we have the beautiful, stellar, and amazing Gentry Anderson in our chat. What's up?
I saw that. I saw that. You go, girl.
So cool.
You go, girl.
You are loved and missed.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even hanging out with us late tonight is the Cryptid Huntress.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, she messaged me, said, I have great hair tonight.
Stellar.
Not
Stellar.
great or not gray, but great.
Love that.
Yeah.
The hairy man is interesting. I've never, been exposed. So that's really cool that you're involving your family in your, what do you call it? A gifting site? Am I using the right terminology?
I just call it our area.
Your area. Cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
It's really cool. I mean, the fact that my son saw one last year with us.
That's amazing.
That's kind of what meant the world to me, was last year having that happen.
Brave guy. Brave little guy. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's very protected too. Like my boy doesn't go wandering around or anything like that. Like he stays in our area. Like if we go wandering around, he stays, much like a wild animal would keep their young right beside him, right? It's the same way with us here. So.
Wow. Wow. And we're almost going back, but do you feel like there's an element of predictability with an experience like that? Like, can you kind of tell what's going to happen before it happens? Do you feel ever like
after the show?
Okay.
Here we go. Final half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate you tuning us on in. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the newswire. Also check out our swag. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Let's rock and roll it again with Tim Seanor, the UFO Report. Whistleblowers, are they important to what we are doing? Are they important to doing what we want them to do? Because we want them as a public to come on out and tell us what they know, everything they know. But a lot of the good stuff is being hidden behind the walls of Congress. Tim, this is a debate that's going to continue on. Do you believe that if more whistleblowers come out, that it's going to continue the impact of what we're seeing here regarding, I don't want to say disclosure, but confirmation?
I do to some extent, but when it comes to these clandestine concealed UFO recovery programs, I don't think that they're going to give us too much, because that's kind of their bread and butter, if you will. And I don't think that they're going to give up their ways and means of their bread and butter. So maybe we'll hear more from whistleblowers, but I don't think that they're going to give up the direct line to clandestine black budget programs. I just don't see that happening because that's above the public's pay grade. We're not allowed to know that stuff. So yes, it may get talked about, but I don't think that's the part of it that we're going to hear. And if they do come out with firsthand witnesses and whistleblowers on that level, then again, I think it's going to be more about people that claim to be part of crash retrieval programs, or maybe alien, programs, people that have worked around aliens, because that's part of what this goes by. Again, those are going to be some pretty big claims. And so it's going to have to be somebody that's going to be able to be vetted. But, firsthand witnesses to support what's already been spoken about. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's left in the bucket that we haven't seen.
What would you want to see out of the whistleblowers?
Well, like you're saying, that firsthand witness to something, not necessarily a whistleblower, because I'm not as interested in the programs. So I'm more interested in a witness. If you can come out publicly at a public hearing with a witness to something that happened, or, if they were part of a recovery program, let's get some details. And I don't feel like it should be someone that we've already heard from, because a lot of those people have already been pushed to the wayside by the community or by the government for one reason or another, either through vetting or just the fact that we've already heard the story. We need something new, and we need something that can have a paper trail to, something that we can get some historical data from, that we could, even be able to look up on Wikipedia and be able to confirm. That's the kind of thing I think we need, is a firsthand witness to an event, not necessarily a whistleblower.
All right, what's topic number 2 for tonight?
Number 2 is going to be fun. And so we can ride out this one because honestly, it's a pretty big topic. And you and I have talked about this quite a bit on and offline. And the big question is, if we do have these craft with beings, where are they from and who are they? And are UFO and UAP craft from potentially other dimensions? And I love that concept. And there are people that are deeply considering that are in physics and all kinds of other sciences that are a little bit fringe. And so we can talk about some of those theories, and we've narrowed them down to 4 possibilities within that concept. And so although there are several theories that propose UFO craft could be vehicles originating from other dimensions, these theories are speculative and lack concrete evidence. Now, often they stem from ideas within the realms of quantum physics and string theory. And so I'm going to list 4 here with brief summaries of these theories, along with a few other little details, such as the physicist that conceives the concept. So for number 1, we're going to consider the multiverse theory. And this theory suggests that our universe is just one of many parallel universes that exist simultaneously. And according to this perspective, UFOs and UAPs could be spacecraft or entities that have found a way to traverse between dimensions. And the concept of the multiverse is explored in works of physicist Brian Greene. So I like this idea, and obviously Marvel Comics has taken this to another level. But Dave, what is your thoughts when it comes to the multiverse theory? And in fact, we've even seen some great films that have come out. I can't remember the one recently for some reason, but I'll bet our chat can, that consider the multiverse as a possibility and being able to slide in between the two, possibly with technology or a manned craft. And if you're able to do that, then time is no longer really important. Do you think it's possible? Do you like this as one of the 4 concepts of multiple dimension or dimensionality for UFOs?
I think it goes beyond UFOs. I really do. I think this ties the entire phenomena together.
Bigfoot as well.
I never believed in it, okay?
Okay.
Never believed in it until in 2018, there were 9 of us doing a ghost walk on the original Gold Rush Trail. And we ran into a Chinese wife and husband. We got that from communication with them, where they were from, and that they were heading up north to Barkerville. Okay, which is had a in the during the heyday of the gold rush, had a large Chinese community there. And to this day, I don't know, Tim, in that investigation, whether we were the ghost to them or they were the ghost to us, because we weren't leaving the trail. And it wasn't until we moved off the trail that they started moving again. And we had the equipment that showed that. And I don't know who was the ghost. That's the interesting part about it.
And if they're from another time, is that a time slip, or how does that work? If it,
I don't know. I don't know. What about all these people who claim to have interactions with the Thunderbird? Okay, if the Thunderbird was real, and I laugh about this, but I think it's a great example. The size of a Thunderbird is 40 feet, around there. Number one, that would be caught on radar. Number two, if that thing ever dropped a deuce, it's painting a house, it's painting a road, it's painting a car, it's painting the forest. There is going to be marks of that, all over the place, yet we never find them. So when people have those sightings outside of the F-16s of the U.S. Air Force, their demonstration team, are they really seeing it in this timeline or a different timeline?
That's really interesting. And that would be evidence of the multiverse theory for people that are coming across reptile like dinosaurs and pterodactyls and the Thunderbird that you're talking about, and things that just don't seem to fit for the time or the location. And sometimes it seems like in this, there's also portals involved where you can almost...
Timmy, you froze up. You froze up on us. There you go. You're almost back. You're almost back.
Okay.
There you are. We got you now.
All right.
What were you saying there?
I was saying, isn't there also a concept where there's a portal and you're able to see into another time or place?
Could be.
That's interesting. Number 2 on this list is string theory. And you'll have to let me know if my signal goes blank, and you'll have to thank Starlink for that. Number 2 being string theory. This theoretical framework attempts to reconcile quantum mechanics and general relativity. And this proposes that all fundamental particles are made up of tiny vibrating strings. And in some interpretations of string theory, additional dimensions beyond the familiar 4, being 3 spatial and 1 temporal, are postulated. And so it's conceivable that UFOs could originate from these higher dimensional spaces. And so string theory is pretty deep. It's a little bit hard to wrap your head around without having a chalkboard in front of you. But I believe that this is the concept that not only do we exist, but something can exist on another level, just maybe 3 feet above us or below us, but very close to us, but we just can't perceive it, but it's that close. And that's also very interesting, because that would be something where it wouldn't seem so hard to conceive stepping between one dimension and another, because it's literally right next to us. What do you feel about that as a concept?
Could be. Could be. I mean, this is all the stuff that we just don't know, dude. It's all the stuff that we just don't know. And this is what kind of trips me out a little bit about it.
If a door
Right.
opened up in front of you, Dave, and it was a world to another universe, and there were beings in there beckoning to you, and they're waving a book at you, would you walk through that door?
Only if the Cryptid Huntress and Tim Seanor and Marquise Williams were holding a rope that could tug me back just in case.
Just in case that book they're waving is a cookbook.
Oh, yeah. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I think it's a really cool concept. It definitely gets me juicy just thinking about it. Number 3 here is just straight up interdimensional travel. And this theory suggests that UFOs could be spacecraft or beings capable of navigating between dimensions by manipulating gravitational forces or exploiting wormholes. And it speculates that these entities may possess advanced technology or understanding of physics that allows them to access different dimensions. This theory often draws inspiration from concepts explored in science fiction literature and movies. While there isn't specific scholarly source for this theory, exploring works of fiction like Interstellar or Contact can provide imaginative perspectives for interdimensional travel. Do you think it's happening, Dave?
I hope so. I want interdimensional travel. I want time travel. I want all sorts of travel.
What do you think of the wormhole concept?
I think it's the only way to get here. I think it's the only way that they are getting here from wherever they're coming from.
Do you think they can fabricate them mechanically with their technology?
Dude, if they have the ability to create 3 to 5 mile long craft that people have seen, they have that technology.
Right.
In order to do whatever the hell they want, bend space and time, use wormholes, use portals, use whatever they want. I will believe that, right? Other people may not. Old Davy is in the thumbs up for that category.
I love it. The hardest one for me to perceive as a human is this 4th one, which is quantum entanglement. And I can explain it in the Tim version, but I'll give you this version first. This theory explores the idea of UFOs that could employ principles of quantum entanglement to traverse between dimensions. So quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where particles become linked together regardless of the distance between them. And so theorists speculate that this phenomenon could be harnessed to instantaneously transport objects across space and time, potentially facilitating interdimensional travel. And of all of them, I feel like this is the most potential, because you could send a particle on a laser beam that can travel faster than time. So theoretically, faster than light speed. So theoretically, you could travel ahead, or I think ahead. I don't think behind is, or actually, yeah. So, well, either way, this is where it gets a little weedy. But theoretically, you could do things like time travel with this concept, but it's basically shaking hands with anywhere you want in the universe by sending a particle there first, seeing if it's possible, and then sending a bunch of particles. Now, you'd have to break yourself down into particles first, which doesn't sound comfortable. And hopefully you're reconstituted properly on the other end. And that gets a little weedy. But I love the idea of sending information on laser beams into space. And this gets interesting. What do you think, D?
Well, before we go any further, thanks to Dog, we should probably at this time of the night say hello to all the agents and agencies that are tuning us in tonight. Give us a call sometime. You already got the phone numbers. We don't need to supply them for you. But remember, Some of us can be bought. Some of us.
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, that's interesting to me because I am really hip to that. It sounds like there could even be working on this kind of technology, sending particles on laser beams faster than the speed of light. Dave, what do you think about that? Possible?
I don't know yet. I do not know yet. Why I don't know, you can blame me. I would like to think that we know how to get to that point of technology. I don't think we're there yet as humans. I really don't. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I just don't see it. I mean, I just don't see us being there yet. I'm not saying out at Area 51 or someplace like that, they haven't got it for us yet. Okay. But when I see airliners still traveling after 60 years at 500, knots going from Seattle to New York, that just seems a little outdated for me.
Yeah. We're deeply invested in outdated technology, Dave. I hear you saying that.
So whether or not we could actually get to the area where we want to go, I'm not sure we're there yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Number 5.
No, that was it. That was it. Yeah, just 4 tonight. We had 4 different kinds of dimensionality possibilities that we're looking into, and I love all of them. I consider dimensionality very much a possibility when it comes to UFOs, to wrap things up in my philosophy. I think that's more likely than them literally taking the time to get from here to there, because that's a huge amount of time. So them cheating and using some of these concepts seems totally viable to me, especially when it works theoretically on paper.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see where it works. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime, Tim. I think, we have to figure out hypersonic, and when I say hypersonic, in that above 7,000 miles an hour type of speed, we have to get comfortable with that first before we start playing with the big aliens and trying to figure out how we're going to move something at light speed.
Well, I'll just throw this last grenade in before I let you go. In my family's sighting, when I saw that craft moving, it appeared like it was almost in two. There was almost 2 of them. It was moving so quickly, except it wasn't literally in 2 places at once. It would be there, and then it would be at the other end of the sky. And I'd look back and it was not there anymore. It had moved. And so I have seen things that defy space and time. And so when I hear things or see things like this, conceptually, it works for me.
And that's what we're doing, to try and manifest Sasquatch and aliens in 10 days' time when you're here, Tim.
I am with you.
Good old Timmy Seanor. It's always a good time when you are on here with us, and I'm so excited that every day we're a day closer to sharing that ice cap, my friend.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Cheers, my brother. Cheers, and cheers to our audience too. Thank you so much tonight.
Yeah, they're kind of good people. Even that Gentry Anderson, who's in the chat room, she's a good solid 4 out of 4. That's true right there. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars. wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Good night.